Can you give an example?
Yeah. So like, for example, let me pick a random library. Let's say Hernur made a library, right? It runs on any operating system of your choice. Okay. It has some vulnerability that is it exists. Okay. Let's say using that vulnerability, you can get root access or system access. For example, let's assume it exists on your machine. Okay. Now, um, let's say nobody has discovered it. It's brand new. It exists, but nobody knows about it. So it's 0-day. That's what we call them. They're not known. A software scanning system or a code scanning system or a researcher actually reading that and figuring it out and playing with it may be able to realize that, hey, if you give these inputs, you can exploit it and do this with it, right? But let's say somebody does that. Now, let's say that library, Hernur's library, has some logging going on. So it's checking, oh, like when I ran this command, this is what I did. And the system has its own logging. So it has services. Services have their own logging. Now service is saying, oh, I'll take this action because this application asked me to do something. All of those logs that are generated are sent to like detection systems. So that's the detection of activity, right? And somebody looking at those logs may say, oh, that system is acting weird. But they don't know the issue. They may not know, by the way, that the issue is in particular library at that point in time, if it's not already known. So the difference is, in plain terms, is when you have an issue, you can, the software part of it in the code that vulnerability exists, you need, a different level of expertise, different level of analysis versus something that you already do. Oh, so if you do something, this is the activity that will happen on the network. You'll see these packets on the network, or a system will run a bunch of commands, or a service will spawn. So the signs of that attack is this combination. It's very hard to figure that piece out. That's a different part.
And so a good example could be, let's say you have cold, right? It can be because of malaria as well. It can be because of COVID as well. So your responsibility is to figure out the software security after the detection, how it is happening. So can you share in this space how in the last 10 years this mechanism of security has evolved?